Ted, thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Great to be with you there, Brooke.
So were the power price subsidies a mistake?
Well, I think Australians have already been feeling the pain, but what these figures from the CPI say today is they're only just starting to feel the full impact of Labor's failed energy policy. For electricity to rise by nearly 25% in 12 months to August says it all. It's a reflection of two things. One, prices just keep going up. And two, the rebates are starting to come off. And so the rebates ultimately were camouflaging the real problem, which is a systemic problem created by Labor's energy policy. And now that it's coming off, people are starting to feel the real pain.
Camouflaging, I suppose, in hindsight, maybe it at least made it more comfortable for people during a tough period.
Oh, there's no doubt. And we have been very supportive of people getting more support. Look, Labor's cost of living crisis is hurting families. It's been hurting senior citizens who haven't known whether to eat or heat their homes during winter. They need help. But it's not enough just to address the symptom of a problem because the problem never goes away. And that's been our key message. And the problem in this case is Labor is breaking our energy system. And that comes through to people's bills at home. And as the statistics say today, electricity has increased in price by nearly 25% in just a 12-month period. So it's only going to get worse from here, unfortunately, and the Australian people are paying the price.
So should a government be able to I guess, artificially tinker with the inflation, the CPI? Is that something you'd avoid if you were Treasurer?
Well, I was shocked when the government did this, and you had the Climate Change and Energy Minister at the time blatantly saying that they were introducing energy rebates in the hope that it would actually reduce the inflation figures, when really, if you're going to be introducing rebates, the core reason has got to be to help people in need. We have more families today under distress because they can't pay their energy bill than we've ever had in our history, ever. They're the ones that the government should be caring about, not, trying to get the right sort of inflation figure so that Jim Chalmers can go out and just sort of tell a narrative to the Australian people.
On the ground level, everyone agrees households and businesses have a massive, massive issue with power prices. It's our biggest concern. And if you look at the business sector, really, power prices and getting those down is the key to unlocking business growth. If we don't subsidise bill payers, how do we bring power prices down? How do you do it?
Well, it starts with ensuring that you've got the right energy mix, Brooke. And this is where the government has gone so wrong, because it's taken a very ideological approach. Instead of doing the sums, doing the economics, doing the modelling and saying what is the cheapest possible way that we can provide electricity to households and businesses, they've instead said, you know what, we've got an ideological approach. We need to shut down our existing energy system and replace it with a new one based on our favourite technologies. And every other type of technology can go jump. But they haven't done that based on economic modelling. They haven't done that with considering what's the impact on the household or the business. And that is why you are seeing prices go through the roof. It's why, for example, even this week you have the Prime Minister at the United Nations tabling a 2035 emissions reduction target, but cannot tell the Australian people how much it's going to cost, how he's going to get there, who's going to pay for it. This has been their approach, and they're now in year 4, and it's still their approach. What they should be doing and what the coalition would do instead is take an economic and engineering approach and prioritise the price of energy for the consumer, for the household and for the business. That's got to be the number one priority. How do you deliver the cheapest form of reliable energy as you decarbonise over time?
Let's talk about coalition policy on, definitely a related topic, because we want to talk about how to make things easier, simpler for business. We've had the government announce a review into the business tax system today. So we had the productivity roundtable. Now there's a review into the business tax system. How do you, if you become Treasurer, how do you cut tax for business, make things easier? What's coalition policy on this area?
Well, I can assure you of one thing, Brooke. It would not have taken me, nor any of my colleagues in the coalition, over 3 years, so 4 years now in government, to realise that there's a problem with red tape. But that's what we've seen, and you're right. The Treasurer's come out today and announced a review. He's very good at announcing reviews, terrible at delivering action when it comes to reducing red tape. So today he has announced that the Board of Taxation can do a review of red tape in the tax system, and we welcome that, by the way. But how on earth it has taken this long for them to realise there's a problem? In their first term of government, over the last 3 years, Labor introduced 5,000 new regulations. 5,000. That has a compliance cost of around $5 billion. And this is the problem. So what would we do differently? We are already working on this. We need to cut regulation or improve regulation, because the job of government is really to ensure we've got the right environment so small businesses, entrepreneurs can just get on with doing business, instead of putting the government at the centre and thinking government knows best about the private sector. It doesn't. It never has, which is why the coalition's view is completely opposite from Labor's. We need to clear away the barriers and let individuals go about their day-to-day life, let businesses do business without government intervention.
So will you be doing the limbo to go lower than Labor on the corporate tax rate? I mean, specifically, what are we talking about here? Can you go lower on the tax rate? Well, how hard are you pushing on this stuff?
Well, we're pushing very hard. Of course, I won't preempt a policy that we'll land on, but our basic principle is to ensure that we have lower, simpler and fairer taxes. Only a coalition is focused on that. Labor, on the other hand, can't stop its spending spree. Spending is at a record high. And so in order to feed a spending addiction, Labor is increasing debt. It'll hit $1.2 trillion by the end of this term of government, and they're going after more taxes. And if that's not enough, they're now also going after people's savings through superannuation. And so wherever you look, Labor is trying to increase debt, increase taxes and increase their theft of people's savings. Why? They can't stop a spending spree. What we would do differently, the starting point to fixing the budget, easing these problems, is to stop the spending spree. And that would be basically the number one objective upon coming to government.
Shadow Treasurer Ted O'Brien, thanks for your time on Money News.
Thanks very much, Brooke. Appreciate it.